Hi, and welcome to what it is already the fourth episode of our show, of our podcast, Immigrant Success Canada, your coaching program for a successful and happy life in Canada for the next 20 years or so. My name is Emmanuel, and I have here my co host and co partner in this program, Charlie Beck. And in the previous episodes, we talked about our journeys to Canada, how we came to Canada, myself from Romania, Charlie from Korea, how we got jobs here, and how we also develop this program in order to help you, the person who is watching and listening to us right now and decided to take probably the most important decision that you will take in your life, and that is coming to Canada. We have developed a coaching program that's based on our experience, and that coaching program consists of 5 modules: self-assessment, education, work-life balance, natural environment, and a success action plan. So basically you'll need to take action to be successful. In the first 2 episodes we discussed about self-assessment, the first module. We went into details: what does it mean and how does it help you position yourself in terms of what you want to do in Canada. Then in the last episode we talk about education, how important education is for you yourself, for your family, for your spouse, and for your children, and what's formal and informal and continuous education. And today, in this episode, Charlie and I will speak about work life balance, which also is the third module in our program, but also something arguably everyone strives for, to have a successful work and life balance, which sometimes it seems like it's possible, sometimes seems like it's not. uh Charlie, let me jump right in and ask you, what makes up the third module, work and life balance?
Yes, absolutely. So in this module, we are talking about what does work and life balance mean to you? So actually, is it possible or what it means? That's the first step. And then, based on this fundamental, the next step is what kind of field or area do you want to go? So basically, there are three areas you can go. One is public sector jobs and career. The second one is private sector. And then the last one is doing your own business as an entrepreneur. So there are three options in terms of your career. So which one is good for you and will help you to coach how you choose your career path. And then lastly, we'll talk about the importance of real location. So where the job is, do you want to go there to get a meaningful good job or not? So how you make a decision whether you relocate to get a good job or not. So we'll coach you how you make a decision about relocation. So back through our case studies, so based on my own uh, case and Emmanuel and then other coaches, so how you make decisions. So last component is location, location, location. So fly to where the job is. So those are three components of major work and life balance.
Or drive on where the job is? You mentioned uh, public, private, or entrepreneurial, but there also can be overlaps between those, right? Because I work in the private sector, you're in the public sector, but also we also have this business which is an entrepreneurial endeavor. One thing I'll before I ask you the next question, one thing I've noticed is in Canada, work the program, take your time. Based on where I come from, and probably the situation is similar on many other countries. You want things to happen just like that, just overnight. You clap your hands or you clap your fingers uh, and things happen. No, that said, um, work-life balance sounds great, Charlie, and I think there are people who would definitely kill for having this. Is it possible?
Yes, absolutely, it's possible in Canada.
Tell me more. I want to find out.
Yeah, actually, uh, I'll tell you one a very interesting example. So originally, I'm from South Korea. So in South Korea, there is very famous phrase, which is in Korean means "pali pali, pali pali."
Pali
That
pali.
means "pali pali." That means go fast, go fast. So that's Korean, one of Korean key cultures. So Koreans are notorious for doing everything. Pali pali, go fast, go
Pali
fast.
pali. Okay.
So that is really good thing for developing new technologies, innovation, right? You want to do it quickly and then going forward and new things. So that's one of the reasons South Korea has grown so fast, especially in terms of technology and internet, all those things, right?
Pali pali.
Pali pali. But the downside, the disadvantage of pali pali means you have to work all the time, right? All the time, day and night, right? So when I worked, actually, I worked in Korea for 10 years. First 7 years in a bank, and then German company in South Korea. So at the time, during my 10 years, I worked from 7 a.m. to almost midnight, right? So from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the office. And then after that, I meet the clients and with the coworkers, we work again, having dinner and all the things until midnight. So that's, to do Bali Bali, you have to do all the things, right? So it was good, but the problem is there is no family life, and I could not have work and life balance with my wife and my son in Korea because all my time was dedicated to work. So, but when I came to Canada, it was totally changed. Especially, I work in the government, so my work is from 9 to 5. And then after that, I can enjoy what I love to do. I love playing tennis, so I play tennis twice or 3 times a week. And then I can have family time and then with my children and with my wife. So I think that's exactly what I mean. So if you want to have a more balanced life, having family life, and then you want to enjoy what you love to do, is possible. So, and it could mean work and life balance for you. But each person is different. So, in this section, we'll coach you what it means to you, and you have to find out is that good for me, and how can I do that? So, Emmanuel, do you want to add anything about work and life balance?
I'm still a workaholic. What might call an workaholic. So I don't think I'm uh, probably the best example. I've been able to enjoy life more since I came to Canada. Although I work a lot, I like what I do. I'm lucky enough to like what I'm doing, and um, I tend to enjoy life more. I see not work as a play, but I also started doing some extracurricular activities. One may call play golf, go ice skating, something I love doing very much, or basically simply something else, having something outside of work and family, including spending some quality family time as well. So Canada offers this possibility, offers this equilibrium, and in my opinion, this is one of the reasons why many people chose Canada to come and live here, and also why Canada has one of the highest standard of living, because it offers this equilibrium. You work, and while you work hard. Don't get me wrong, but you can also enjoy the hard work that will pay off eventually at one point. Something that other countries may not offer the same way that Canada does.
And another thing I like to add is our work and life balance can be different depending on how old you are and then what stage you are in your life, right? So when you are in 20s or 30s, 40s, 50s, so your work and life balance could be different, right? So I think that is important thing. You need to understand, okay, what kind of work and life balance is good for me when I'm in 30s or when I'm in 50s. So that kind of thing. So you need to think about it and then kind of plan it. So whether what kind of job or what kind of career is good for me overall for the next 5 or 10 years. So that kind of have we like to give some guideline or coaching about. Okay, it could be different, so you need to also think about it and then plan it and then work on it.
You already answered the question that I had in mind, but we can develop the answer together. Is how can I choose my career path and which one's good for me? And I should probably start answering this question because I actually changed my. But you were in the similar situation as well, if I remember correctly. When I came here, I had different experiences back home. I had my education is in economics. I have a bachelor in business administration. I work as an accountant. I had a government job. I had my own company as well. So I had the opportunity when I came here to choose from what career I want to be in. Maybe some people know before coming to Canada, okay, I want to be an accountant, I want to be a doctor, I want to have my own business, um, I want to do these type of things. And don't get me wrong, we discussed in the previous episodes as well. You can have a very successful career if you like, for example, animals, and you can take care of animals, be a dog walker, or basically anything. Canada offers you this possibility of making a great living out of anything. That's why it says career and not job. So let me ask you this, Charlie. First of all, two questions: your experience when you came to Canada. What was on your mind? You had some for you had some education from Korea and had some experience, but you basically had to redo some of the education and decide on which career you want to be. And the second one, what no how does our program help a somebody who's coming to Canada decide which path is the correct one, right? Because some people may think, okay, maybe I'm forced to stick in this job for the rest of my life, or I'll just be coming to Canada. It's going to be very hard to find a job, and if I found that job, I need to stay it until I retire, or at least for 5 years, for 10 years, and so forth. So what are your comments? In I believe there's more than two questions, but
I
you
think
get the idea.
I think that's actually great question because it applies to me. So in Canada, actually, first when I got a job in government, actually, government job was not my first choice. Actually, I thought about getting a job in the private sector, but I chose to become a government employee, and I later I found out that actually I enjoy it, and it it makes sense to me. So at the time when I got government job, I was 37 years old. So it's kind of middle age, right? Not too young, but not too old. So from there, so from 37 to now I'm 57 years old. So 20 years in government. So actually, it turned out very good, and actually I enjoyed it, right? So you never know whether actually you like it or not until you do it, right? So my recommendation is you try it, and whether it fits you, so whether you like it or not. Actually, you until do not you don't know, right? Whether you like it. So that's another thing. So that's we like to coach you, okay? Don't be stuck with just one career or one company. Okay, so you need to think about yourself. Okay, what is important for me, myself, my wife, and my children, and then what one. That's why we talked about work and life balance, right? So what it means. So that's we like to help you about uh, what career is good for me.
Definitely. And in Canada, it's perfectly fine to switch careers. Uh, Maybe somebody who comes in from a different culture might not see the say with good eyes basically changing careers or changing jobs too often and similar ideas. But in Canada, the things are different.
Mm.
I would say nobody really judges you, and it's important. The end goal, remember, is to be successful but also happy. So our program actually, we, our program, and through our program, us sit one on one with you and help you come up with your own answers, because at the end of the day, coaching is that also helping you coming up with your own answer on some detrimental questions about your success, what success means to you and what happiness means to you as well. So uh, that said, Canada is a very big country. We discussed that before. It's the second largest country, has the second largest territory in the whole world, and there are many benefits, many job opportunities outside of the area where you live. And outside, I don't mean the East Coast and the West Coast, but can be also in Ontario, right? And for example, I'm in Toronto, you, Charlie, are somewhere else within the same province. We're under the same rules. Yet again, there's how many how many kilometers and probably a day of driving, right, distance between us, or 2 hours flight or something like that within just the same territory, because Ontario is so big. It's actually larger than many other countries of the world, just the province of Ontario. So the question is, would you are there any benefits in chasing a job if an opportunity comes, and moving, and obviously the cost that's associated with that?
Absolutely. So,
You mentioned at the beginning location, so let's expand on that.
right. So, as Emmanuel said, so our uh, program for this work and life balance, first we talk about work and life balance meaning, and then you choose your career path, right? Private, public, or entrepreneurial route. You can do, or you can combine those your career. And then the last component is whether do you wanna move to the job or career when it is located further away, as Emmanuel said, maybe 10 hours drive or 800 kilometers away, right? So is it worthwhile to relocate for the job? So In this section, we'll talk about what kind of opportunities and challenges you encounter. So for me, I moved 3 times in my career. So when I was in Korea first, I started my job in a bank, and I started my work in a branch of this bank in the second largest city in Korea. And then after 4 years of work, I applied to work at the head office of the bank, which is the capital of South Korea, Seoul. So I could work at the same branch for the rest of my career, but I decided to apply to head office. I thought that they could provide more opportunities to me. So I applied to the job in a head office, and I moved to Seoul, which was 5 hours drive. So actually, that's the beginning of my first relocation of my work. And then, as you know, I quit my job and then moved to Canada, right? And to pursue my master's degree. So that was second my move, right? And then
Close from Korea to Canada, next to.
and then after my education, I worked for Ontario government, right? Provincial government in London, Ontario, which was we call Southern Ontario in Canada, right? So I worked there for 5 years, and then I could stay there, but I decided to move to Northern Ontario, which is another 8 hours drive, and so at the time that was another big decision I had to make whether I stay in London, Ontario, or moving to Northern Ontario now, right? So I thought a lot of things, pros and cons, and then whether it makes sense or not. So my point and our coaching program is designed to help you make good choice for yourself, whether it makes or not. So for me, now I have been working in Northern Ontario 16 years now. So I'm very happy with my decision, my career, my family, and all the things. So in this section, we'll coach you what are key things you have to consider. Okay, there are living cost, house prices, and food prices, and then your job opportunities, career movement, and then your family, your wife, your husband, career, and then your children's education, right? All those things you have to think about and then make a decision. It's not easy. It takes time, and then so in this section we'll help you, you guide. And lastly, I like to briefly talk about your career path. We talked about the private, public, and entrepreneur. So in our program, we have excellent coaches who have a lot of experience. So we have two coaches in public sector, more than 30 years of work experience, and another two coaches. They are successful entrepreneurs, and so they'll provide what kind of options and opportunities and challenges you'll encounter. So this summarizes uh, this work and life balance segment, right? What it means, and then what career path, and then whether I should relocate for the jobs.
So, where can I sign up?
Go to our website, okay? And that's
We,
the fast and then best way.
and we take this opportunity to remind our viewers, our listeners, that our website is www.isc-go.com. So, ISC, the initials for Immigrant Success Canada -go.com. you'll be able to find more details about our coaching program. You'll be able to find contact information for us and links to our social media profiles. You can follow us and ask us any question you might get. That being said, I guess we reach the end of this episode. We covered a lot of details about this module, and of course, it's important. It's an important module. Our next program, our next episode, will cover the fourth module, which is natural environment, and we're gonna wrap it up with our fifth and action plan for success. That being said, thank you so much. My name is Emmanuel, and until the next episode, goodbye.
Hi, I am Charlie Beck. See you in our next episode.